My beloved child, come close, and let the world fall silent for just a moment. I know you have felt the heavy pull of things you cannot explain, the shadows that seem to dance in your DNA, the echoes of struggles that belong to your father, your mother, and those who came before them. I see you looking in the mirror, searching for the traces of a condition you were told you must simply endure because it is in your blood. But I am the one who formed the first drop of blood that ever pulsed through a human heart, and I am the architect of every strand of your existence. Tonight, I am reaching across the generations to perform a work so deep that it will vibrate through the very marrow of your bones. I have heard your silent cries in the middle of the night, when the weight of the future feels like an impossible burden, and the anxiety of what might be inherited clouds your vision. You have felt like a prisoner to a script you did not write, watching for symptoms, waiting for the other shoe to drop, and wondering if you are destined to repeat the cycles of pain and lack that define those who walked this earth before you. My child, I am here to tell you that your heritage is not found in a laboratory or a medical chart, but in the palm of my hand. I am entering the secret places of your genetic code right now. I am walking through the hallways of your ancestry, carrying a light that consumes every shadow and every curse that has tried to claim your name. That genetic condition, that predisposition to illness, that cycle of infirmity, I am speaking peace, be still to the storm in your cells. I am the great physician, and I am reweaving the broken threads of your lineage. I am replacing the blueprint of decay with the blueprint of life. You are not a victim of your biology. You are a miracle of my design. Even as I touch your physical body, I am also reaching into the places where your soul feels starved. I see the financial worry that has been a constant companion in your family for years, the spirit of not enough that has haunted your dreams. I am breaking the yoke of poverty and the fear of lack. I am opening the windows of heaven to pour out a blessing that your ancestors could only imagine. You shall be the one who changes the story. You shall be the one of whom they say, everything changed when they believed. Do not let loneliness tell you that you are fighting this battle alone. I am with you in the quiet of your room, in the bustle of your day, and in the stillness of your rest. I have never turned my face from you. The loneliness you feel is but a call for you to lean harder into my embrace, for in me, you find the family, the validation, and the home you have always sought. I am healing your mind from the poison of anxiety. The frantic thoughts that race like wild horses are being stilled by my gentle hand. I am giving you a spirit of power, of love, and of a sound mind. Watch now as the miracles begin to manifest. Watch as the doctors look again and find they cannot explain the shift. Watch as the doors that were once rusted shut swing wide open, inviting you into a season of abundance you never thought possible. This is not a temporary reprieve. This is a permanent restoration. I am clearing the path for your children and your children's children, so that they may walk on ground that is no longer thorns and thistles, but lush and green. Your family line is being cleansed. The bitterness is being turned to sweetness. The weakness is being turned to strength. Rest in this truth. Do not strive, do not fret, and do not fear the reports of men. My report is the final word, and my word says you are whole, you are provided for, and you are deeply, unconditionally loved. I am doing a new thing today, and it begins in the very core of your being. Receive my life, receive my healing, and receive my peace. I love you with an everlasting love, and I will never let you go. Even now, as you breathe, I am reaching into the microscopic architecture of your being, into the spiral of your DNA, where the stories of your ancestors have been written in ink that once seemed permanent. You have often looked at your own hands and seen the hands of those who came before you, wondering if their limitations were your inevitable destination. But I tell you now, I am the master architect, and I am editing the script. I am erasing the typos of disease and the misprints of dysfunction that have haunted your line for centuries. Every cell in your body is a temple, and I am sweeping out the dust of generations. Think of the woman who came 3 generations before you, the one whose name is barely whispered now, who carried the same heaviness in her chest and the same trembling in her spirit. I am healing her through you. As the light of my presence floods your marrow, it flows backward through the timeline of your blood, untying the knots that have bound your family in a cycle of suffering. You are the pivot point. You are the one in whom the cycle breaks. When you wake in the morning and feel that familiar twinge of concern, that habitual check of your symptoms, I want you to pause and breathe deeply. Feel the coolness of the sheets and the warmth of the sun through the window, and know that you are not waking up to the same body you once inhabited. It is a new tabernacle, and I am strengthening the walls. I am purifying the streams of your blood so that they run clear and vibrant, carrying life instead of a legacy of fear. This genetic burden that once felt like a prison is being transformed into a garden of my grace. You will look at your children, and you will see a different sparkle in their eyes, a freedom they did not have to earn because I gave it to you to pass down. I am reaching into the library of your ancestry, into the rooms where your forefathers wept in secret over the same pains you have carried, and I am opening the windows to let in the light of 1,000 suns. The very walls of your home seem to breathe with a new lightness, because I am removing the heavy curtains of despair that were draped over your lineage. You used to think of your heritage as a map of minefields, carefully treading so as not to trigger the same explosions of illness that took those before you, but I am turning those minefields into meadows. Where there were warnings, there are now promises. I am reinforcing the valves of your heart and smoothing the flow of your life force, ensuring that every beat is a testament to my faithfulness. Think of the ancient oak tree. Its strength is in the secret places where the roots meet the earth. I am fortifying your secret places. I am pouring the golden oil of my spirit into the joints of your identity, making every movement a prayer of thanksgiving. You are not just a collection of cells and sequences. You are a thought of mine made flesh, and my thoughts toward you are of wholeness. When you sit at your table tonight, look at the empty chairs of those who have passed, and do not see them with sorrow. See them as the cloud of witnesses who are cheering as they see the chains finally drop from your limbs. They are celebrating that the burden they could not shake has finally been destroyed by the weight of my glory. I am working even in your sleep, performing the deep, microscopic surgery that requires your complete surrender. You do not need to understand the biology of the miracle to receive it. You only need to trust the one who invented biology. I am the God of the atom and the God of the galaxy, and I am focused on the intricate details of your recovery. There is a specific peace I am dropping into your spirit right now that defies the logic of the medical reports you have read. It is a peace that says it is well before the evidence is even visible to the naked eye. But the evidence is coming, gathering like clouds before a heavy rain. You will feel the first drop soon, and then the downpour of wholeness will saturate every area of your life. Do not look back at the what-ifs or the reasons why. Those questions are being swallowed up by the thank you that is rising in your soul. I am giving you back the years that the locust of disease has eaten. I am restoring the vitality of your youth. You will find yourself doing things you had crossed off your list and planning for a future you had previously been afraid to imagine. There is no part of your struggle hidden from me, and no part of your body beyond my reach. I am touching the origin point of the imbalance and bringing the scales back into perfect alignment. Receive this now. Let it soak into your skin and settle into your bones. You are being made new from the inside out, from the past into the future, eternally and completely. We are not finished yet. There is so much more beauty to reveal as we walk this path of restoration together. Can you feel the warmth now, traveling through the secret architecture of your veins? It is not just a sensation. It is the movement of my spirit through the corridors where silence has long resided. I am walking through the hallways of your ancestry, through the rooms where your great-grandparents whispered their worries in the dim light of oil lamps, and where your parents carried the weight of a burden they could not name, but felt in every joint and heartbeat. I am going back to the root, to the very soil where this seed of infirmity was first planted by a fallen world. I am reaching into the soil of your heritage and pulling up the weeds that have choked the vitality of your line for generations. Think of the stories you were told, the tales of the family struggle, or the inevitable decline that everyone simply accepted as destiny. I am the author of your destiny, and I am rewriting the script. I am taking the pen that recorded the limitations of your bloodline and I am dipping it into the light of my promise. Where the page said weakness, I am writing strength. Where it said shortened days, I am writing longevity and peace. Look at your hands for a moment. See the skin, the knuckles, the intricate web of life just beneath the surface. For years, you have looked at them and seen the potential for tremors, or the shadow of your father's pain, or the stiffness that claimed your mother's grace. But now, I want you to see them through my eyes. These hands are being untethered. They are being released from the invisible shackles of a genetic memory that no longer has permission to define you. I am recalibrating the very instructions within your cells. If your body were a library, I am walking through the aisles and replacing the dusty, tattered books of affliction with vibrant, gold-edged volumes of wholeness. Every strand of your DNA is being bathed in the frequency of my voice. You might have felt a strange tingling in your feet as you walked across the kitchen floor this morning, or a sudden, unexplained lightness in your chest as you looked out the window at the rising sun. These are not coincidences. They are the physical manifestations of a spiritual overhaul. I am removing the should have been and the would have been and replacing them with the is. You are the one I have chosen to stand at the gateway of this family line and declare that the cycle stops here. I am making you the pioneer of a new legacy. Imagine your children and your children's children looking back at this moment in time and marveling. They will not speak of the sickness that used to run in the family. They will speak of the miracle that changed everything. They will walk with a stride that is unburdened because of what I am doing in you right now. I am clearing the path ahead of them by working deep within the marrow of your bones. This is a quiet revolution. It doesn't always come with a thunderclap. Sometimes it comes in the way you find yourself breathing more deeply while you're folding the laundry, or the way you realize, with a start, that the dull ache that usually accompanies the rain is simply gone. I am in the mundane details of your Tuesday afternoons and the quiet reflections of your Sunday mornings. I am the god of the quiet shift. I am going into the microscopic landscapes where the proteins fold and the signals fire. I am correcting the misfires. I am smoothing out the jagged edges of the inherited code. You have spent so much energy bracing yourself for the blow, waiting for the other shoe to drop, preparing for the decline you were told was certain. I am asking you to let go of that bracing. Relax the muscles of your soul. You do not need to defend yourself against a ghost that I have already exorcised. The shadow that followed your ancestors has been swallowed by the light of my presence. I am teaching you a new way to move through the world, not as a patient in waiting, but as a masterpiece in progress. Do you remember the hobby you set aside because your body felt too heavy or your mind too clouded? It is time to look at it again. The paints, the garden tools, the hiking boots, they are not relics of a past self. They are invitations to your future. I am giving you back the capacity to delight in the physical world. I am sharpening your senses so that the fragrance of the pine trees and the taste of fresh bread are more vivid than ever before. You are not just surviving a condition. You are being invited into a feast of well-being. There is a deep, resonant joy bubbling up from your core, a joy that isn't dependent on a medical scan, because it is anchored in my unchanging nature. I am the same yesterday, today, and forever, and my intention for you has always been life in abundance. We are navigating the layers of your history, peeling back the layers of fear like an onion, until all that remains is the core of who I created you to be before the world ever touched you. We are going deeper into the restoration of your identity, for as your body heals, your spirit is also being liberated from the identity of the sick one. You are being renamed. You are the restored one, the breakthrough one, the carrier of the new song. Stay in this moment with me. Don't rush ahead to see if it's real. Just be. Let the restorative power of my love continue its meticulous, beautiful work. We are dismantling the old structure to make room for a cathedral of health that will stand for generations to come. The work is intricate, and the work is sure, and I am watching over every single second of your transformation with a father's pride and a creator's joy. Feel the rhythm of your heart, not as a clock ticking down toward a predetermined decline, but as a drum announcing a new era. We are looking together at the very blueprints of your existence, the long, shimmering scrolls of your DNA that have been passed from hand to hand, generation to generation. For too long, you have viewed these scrolls as a map of inevitable tragedy, tracing the ink blots where your grandfather stumbled and where your mother's strength began to fade. You have walked softly, haven't you? You have lived with a bated breath, waiting for the shadow that claimed them to finally lengthen over your own doorway. But I am the original architect, and I am stepping into the archives of your lineage with a pen of light. I'm not just patching a leak, I am rewriting the narrative. I am moving through the microscopic corridors of your cells, whispering to the proteins and the nucleotides, reminding them of their first instructions. The ones I gave before the world grew heavy and the air grew thin with fear. Can you feel the subtle shift in the marrow of your bones? It is a warmth, a gentle humming, like the first thaw of spring reaching the deepest roots of an ancient oak. You are no longer the sum of 1,000 mistakes or the victim of a biological lottery. You are the point of convergence where my grace meets your history to create something entirely new. Think back to those moments in your childhood when you watched your elders struggle, the way the heavy ceramic mugs would tremble in their hands, or the way they had to sit and catch their breath halfway up the stairs. You internalized those sights as prophecies. You told yourself, "This is my future. This is the ceiling of my capability." But I am shattering that ceiling. I am removing the genetic inheritance of fatigue and replacing it with the inheritance of my vitality. Watch as I untangle the threads that have been knotted for 80 years. See how I am smoothing the jagged edges of the code that told your body to attack itself or to fail prematurely. I am replacing the no that has been whispered in your bloodline with a resounding yes. When you wake tomorrow, I want you to notice the weight of your feet on the floor. Notice the absence of that phantom heaviness that usually greets you before the sun is even up. That is not just rest. That is the structural integrity of your being fortified by my spirit. I am reinforcing the walls of your vessels, sharpening the clarity of your neural pathways, and commanding your immune system to stand down from its false alarms. We are teaching your body a new language, the language of ease. Let's walk through the garden of your memories and pull the weeds of what if. You've spent years scanning your body for symptoms, interpreting every twitch or ache as the beginning of the end. I am healing your mind of this hypervigilance. I am giving you the gift of a quiet body. Imagine a life where you do not have to negotiate with your energy levels, where you do not have to calculate the cost of a long walk or a day spent in the sun. This is the freedom I am carving out for you. I see the tears you've hidden when you looked at your own children, wondering if you were passing them a cup of bitterness. Hear me clearly. The cup is being taken away. The line stops here. The legacy of this condition is being severed at the root, and in its place, I am planting a vine of resilience that will shade your children and their children. You are the transition point. You are the one through whom the water is being filtered until it runs clear again. When you look at your hands now, do not see the hands of your ancestors who suffered. See the hands of a new creation, steady and strong, capable of holding the weight of 1,000 blessings without breaking. Stay here in the stillness with me. There is a deep work happening in the mitochondria, the tiny engines of your life force. I am pouring my oil into those engines, clearing the soot of generations, making them burn bright and clean. You might feel a strange sense of expansion, as if the very borders of your physical self are widening. Do not be afraid of this space. It is the space of health. It is the room I am making for the new song I promised. This song is not just a melody for your voice. It is a frequency for your flesh. It is a vibration of wholeness that will repel the old sickness. We are dismantling the house of mourning that your family built around this diagnosis. We are taking down the black curtains and throwing open the windows to let in the gale of my life-giving breath. Every time you take a deep, unobstructed breath, know that it is me filling your lungs with the oxygen of heaven. You are being rewired for joy, calibrated for longevity, and tuned to the pitch of my love. We are not rushing this, for every layer of your healing is a layer of our intimacy. I am enjoying this process of making you whole, of seeing the light return to your eyes and the color to your cheeks. You are my masterpiece, and I am not finished yet. There is so much more I want to show you about the capacity of a body that is fully surrendered to its maker. We are moving from the realm of possible into the realm of done, and I am holding your hand through every miraculous inch of the way. As we walk together through the hallways of your bloodline, I want you to notice the portraits we are passing. Look at your grandmother's eyes in that old sepia photograph you keep in the velvet-lined box. You always saw a flicker of the same fatigue in her gaze that you eventually found in your own mirror. You thought it was just the family look, a tired inheritance of the spirit and the bone. But I am showing you that what you called a look was actually a veil, a thin shroud of expected sorrow that has been draped over your lineage for centuries. I am lifting that veil now. I am reaching into the very marrow of your ancestry, back to the roots of the tree where the soil first became bitter. I am sweetening the earth around your beginnings. Think of the river that flows through your veins not as a carrier of old debts, but as a crystal stream I am filtering with my own hands. I am standing at the headwaters of your life, casting in the branch of healing, just as I did for the thirsty ones in the desert. Every drop that reaches your heart now is purified, stripped of the instructions to fail, and encoded with the command to thrive. Do you feel the subtle shift in your rhythm? It is like a clock that has been cleaned of dust. The gears are finally catching the way I designed them to. I remember the night you sat on the edge of your bed, staring at your hands, wondering if they would one day betray you the way they betrayed your father's father. I heard the silent question you whispered into the dark, "Is this my destiny too?" I want you to hear my answer clearly now, resonating through every fiber of your being. Your destiny is not written in the errors of your ancestors. It is written in the perfection of your Creator. I am the one who writes the code, and I am currently editing the script of your physical existence. I am deleting the paragraphs of pain and inserting stanzas of strength. There is a specific gene, a tiny switch that has been flipped to off for generations, causing the lights to dim prematurely in your family. I am placing my thumb upon that switch right now. I am toggling it back to on. Can you feel the surge? It isn't a lightning bolt. It is more like the slow, steady warmth of a hearth fire being stoked. It is the return of a power you didn't even know you were missing. We are going back to the blueprint, to the original design I held in my heart before your first ancestor ever drew breath. There was no glitch in that design. There was no predisposition to decay. I am restoring that pristine image, pixel by pixel, cell by cell. I want you to pay attention to the small things today. The way you climb the stairs without that familiar hesitation. The way your mind feels clear of the fog that used to roll in by mid-afternoon. These are not coincidences. They are the signposts of my work. We are repaving the neural pathways that used to lead to anxiety about your health. Those old roads are being closed for construction. I am building a highway of peace where you can run and not grow weary, walk and not faint. I see the way you have guarded your heart, afraid to hope too much lest the family curse catch up with you. I am asking you to let down that guard. Hope is not a danger to you. It is a medicine. Let the hope saturate the places where the fear used to hide. I am going into the deep archives of your biological memory, and I am settling the accounts. Every inherited burden, every weakness that was passed down like a heavy heirloom, I am taking from your shoulders. You were never meant to carry the weight of 100 years of sickness. You were meant to carry my glory. I am looking at the way your heart pumps, the way the valves open and close in a perfect, rhythmic dance. I am fine-tuning the pressure, smoothing out the turbulence. You are becoming a vessel of honor, polished and bright. This healing is not just for your sake, though I love you with an everlasting love. It is for the sake of those who will come after you. Because of this work we are doing in the secret places of your biology, the children of your line will be born into a different atmosphere. They will inherit a yes where there used to be a no. They will breathe an air that is free of the ancestral soot. You are the pivot point. You are the one in whom the tide is turning. Do not be surprised if you find yourself wanting to move your body in ways you haven't in years. If the impulse to dance or stretch or walk through the tall grass comes upon you, follow it. That is your body celebrating its new freedom. It is the flesh acknowledging the spirit. We are not just fixing a problem. We are launching a new beginning. I am lingering over the delicate structures of your inner ear, the balance of your gait, the very architecture of your spine. I am straightening what was crooked and reinforcing what was brittle. I am your architect, and I am remodeling the temple for a long and joyful residence. Stay here in this quietness with me a little longer. Let the oil of my presence soak deep, past the skin, past the muscle, into the hidden places where the DNA uncoils. I am whispering to the coils, be whole, be well, be mine. Each breath you take is a confirmation of this covenant. We are moving deeper now, into the layers of the soul that are intertwined with the body, ensuring that the healing is total, leaving no corner of your heritage untouched by my light. As this light permeates the marrow, think of the hands of your father and his father before him. Do you remember the way they would sometimes falter, the slight hesitation when reaching for a cup, or the way they held the tools of their trade with a quiet, desperate intensity? That shadow, that subtle glitch in the rhythm of the pulse, has been a silent guest at your table for 4 generations. It sat with you at every holiday. It whispered in the background of every birth announcement, a phantom reminder that the blood has its own memory. But I am the memory of the universe, and I am introducing a higher recollection. I am reminding your cells of their original blueprint, the one I drew before the first star was kindled. Look at your own hands now. They are not merely the replicas of those who went before. They are the vessels of a new decree. I am recalibrating the very chemistry of your strength. In the laboratory of your spirit, I am transmuting the lead of that old vulnerability into a gold that will not tarnish. You might feel a strange heat in your palms, or a tingling that feels like the first thaw of spring in the high mountains. This is the friction of my grace as it polishes the rough edges of your inheritance. I see the photograph on your mantle, the one where the eyes of your grandmother look back with that familiar cloudiness, that resigned expectation of a slow decline. I am reaching back through the photograph, through the time it represents, and I am healing the perception of that entire branch. Because you have said yes to this intimacy, the root itself is being bathed in a different nutrient. You are not just a leaf on a dying tree. You are the branch that is being grafted into the vine of life. Can you feel the shift in your heart's cadence? It is finding a steadier beat, one that does not race with the anxiety of what is inevitable. There is no such thing as an inevitable curse in the presence of the blessing. I am going into the specific enzymes, the proteins that were folded in sorrow, and I am refolding them in joy. I am the weaver at the loom of your existence, and I have found the snag that has caused the fabric to bunch and tear for 70 years. With a touch lighter than a moth's wing, I am smoothing it out. I am pulling the thread of life taut and true. You may find that your sleep becomes deeper, more restorative, as the subconscious fear of your own biology begins to dissipate. You are no longer waiting for the other shoe to drop, for the family trait to manifest. Instead, you are waiting for the sunrise, for the expansion of your lungs, for the simple pleasure of a body that cooperates with the soul. Think of the garden you tend, the way the soil must be turned to let the air reach the roots. I am turning the soil of your lineage. I am removing the stones of bitterness and the weeds of resignation. I am planting the seeds of vitality that will bloom in your children's children. They will possess a stamina that was denied to your ancestors. They will run when others walked. They will see clearly when others squinted in the haze. And it is all because you sat here in this stillness and allowed me to work. I am focusing now on the nerves that travel from your brain to your extremities, the highways of your intent. I am clearing the debris from these paths. I am insulating the wires with my peace. The static is fading. The transmission of life is becoming clear and loud. Stay with me. Do not rush away from this holy renovation. There is a specific memory I want to touch, the one of the summer when you first noticed the shadow in yourself, the moment the fear first took root in your mind. I am going back to that moment, to that younger version of you sitting on the porch, looking at your shaking fingers or feeling that sudden, unexplained fatigue. I am wrapping my arms around that younger you and whispering that the story does not end there. I am erasing the fear and replacing it with a profound sense of belonging to the eternal. You are not a victim of your biology. You are the master of it through me. We are rewriting the biological ledger. Where it said weakness, I am writing resilience. Where it said decline, I am writing renewal. I am also attending to the waters of your body, the lymph, the blood, the intracellular fluid. I am charging these waters with the frequency of my voice. Let the resonance of "Be whole" echo through every gallon of life within you. This is a baptism of the deepest kind, a washing that reaches into the very atoms. I am looking into the future of your line, and I see a child who will never know the name of this condition. They will live their life in such robust health that they will wonder why the old stories spoke of such things. And they will never know, on this side of eternity, that it was because of this hour we are spending together. They will breathe the air of the mountains because you chose to endure the pressure of the deep. I am proud of you, my beloved. I am honored by your trust. Let us move even further into the blueprint, into the subtle energies that govern the physical. I am aligning your chakras, your meridians, your very aura with the vibration of the heavens. You are becoming a beacon of this healing, a walking sanctuary. When you walk into a room, the health that is being established in you will spill over onto others. It is a contagion of wholeness. Stay in the quiet. Let the oil soak in. We are not done. There is so much more beauty to weave into the fabric of your days. Let us descend now into the quiet rooms of your nervous system, that intricate web of silver threads that translates the world to your soul. For generations, this web has been tuned to a frequency of hypervigilance, a biological stutter born of the fear that the body would eventually betray itself. I am placing my hands upon the primary nodes of this system. Feel the cooling sensation, like peppermint oil on a fevered brow, as I soothe the electrical storms that have raged here since before you were born. I am recalibrating the fight-or-flight response that has been the silent soundtrack of your lineage. No longer will your cells wait for the other shoe to drop. No longer will they brace for a winter that never ends. Look with me at the kitchen table of your childhood. Do you remember the shadows there? The unspoken worry that hung in the air like dust motes in a shaft of light. I am sweeping that room clean. I am going back to the moments your mother looked at you with that flicker of sorrow in her eyes, the one she thought she hid, the one that mourned a future she feared you wouldn't have. I am reaching into that memory and replacing her sorrow with a fierce, radiant hope. I am telling her heart, across the expanse of time, that her child is safe. Her child is the one I have chosen to break the seal. We are moving into the bone marrow now, the very factory of your life force. It is here that the blueprints are kept, the master scrolls that tell the body how to build itself day by day. I am unrolling these scrolls, and with a pen made of pure light, I am striking through the errors in the code. Where the ink was smudged by trauma or environmental weight, I am clarifying the lines. See the marrow beginning to glow with a soft, iridescent violet light. This is the light of transmutation. It is turning the lead of the old condition into the gold of a new vitality. You might feel a tingling in your shins, a warmth in your hips. This is the physical sensation of the rewrite. It is the sound of the chains falling away. I want you to think about the garden you tend, or the one you wish to tend. Imagine the soil there. For years, the soil of your family line was depleted, lacking a specific nutrient that allowed the thorns to grow more easily than the roses. I am enriching that soil today. I am adding the minerals of my grace and the compost of your ancestors' prayers, for they did pray, even when they didn't have the words. They groaned in the spirit for a freedom they couldn't name, and those groans have been stored in golden bowls before my throne. I am pouring those bowls out upon you now. You are the answer to a prayer offered in a drafty cabin 100 years ago. You are the fulfillment of a hope whispered by a woman who died before she could see her grandchildren. Their love for you, which was once tinged with the helplessness of their own illness, is now being filtered through my light and sent to you as pure, undistilled strength. Can you feel the weight of their hands on your shoulders? Not a heavy weight, but a supportive one, like the pillars of a great cathedral. They are cheering for you. The cloud of witnesses is leaning over the banisters of heaven, watching as the weakness is erased from the script. Let us look at your heart, not just the spiritual heart, but the physical pump that moves the mystery of life through your veins. I am strengthening the valves, smoothing the interior walls of the arteries, ensuring that every beat is a declaration of my sovereignty. A heartbeat is a rhythm, a drum that keeps time for the dance of existence. I am resetting your rhythm to the heartbeat of the universe. Feel the syncopation. It is steady. It is sure. It is vibrant. There is no tremor of hesitation here. I am also tending to the small things, the microscopic messengers, the hormones and enzymes that dictate the mood of your body. I am balancing the chemistry of your joy. I am ensuring that the signals sent from your brain to your gut are signals of peace and plenty. You have lived in a state of scarcity, biologically speaking, fearing that the energy would run out or the structure would fail. I am introducing the concept of abundance to your cells. They are learning that there is more than enough. There is an infinite supply of life force available to you, and I am opening the sluice gates. Think of a specific moment in your future, perhaps a summer afternoon, years from now. You are walking up a steep hill, your lungs expanding fully, your legs strong and reliable. You stop at the top to look at the view, and for a moment, you forget that there was ever a time when such a walk would have been impossible or terrifying. That moment is already real in my sight. It is an anchor I am throwing forward into your timeline, and we are currently pulling you toward it. Every breath you take in this quiet space is a foot of rope reclaimed. Do not be afraid of the depth of this work. It is deep because the roots of the condition were deep, but my love is deeper still. I am the water that finds the lowest point. I am the light that penetrates the densest shadow. We are weaving a new fabric, yes, but we are also unpicking the old, frayed threads with such tenderness that not a single healthy fiber is disturbed. You are being refined, not replaced. You are being polished until the image I saw when I first dreamed of you is what the world sees when they look at you. Stay with me. The oil is still soaking in, reaching the layers of your being that have been dry for decades. There is a sweetness coming, a fragrance of life that will define the rest of your years. Let the peace of this realization settle into your joints, into the spaces between your vertebrae. You are being held. You are being remade. And the best part is, we have only just begun to explore the wonders of this new architecture. Think of your DNA not as a fixed decree, but as a song that has been sung with a slight, persistent discord for many generations. For decades, you heard the scratch in the record, the flat note in the chorus, and you assumed it was the melody itself. But I am the composer, and I am now resetting the needle. I am reaching into the very marrow of your history, into those microscopic ladders of light that carry the stories of those who came before you. I see the grandmother who carried this same fatigue in her bones, while she hung laundry in the crisp autumn air, her spirit willing but her body tethered by the same invisible weight you have known. I see the father who looked at his hands and wondered why they faltered when he tried to teach you to tie a knot or hold a pen. Their struggles were not failures of character. They were echoes of a broken frequency that had lost its way. I am harmonizing that frequency now. Can you feel the subtle shift in the vibration of your own blood? It is as if a long, frantic noise has finally ceased, leaving behind a silence so rich it feels like a physical presence. This is the silence of restoration. Let us look closer at the kitchen table of your memory. Remember the way the light used to hit the worn wood on those heavy Tuesday afternoons, when the shadow of the family condition felt like an uninvited guest at every meal. That guest has been asked to leave. In its place, I am pulling up a chair for vitality. I am filling the cupboards of your being with a different kind of sustenance. I want you to imagine yourself standing in that same kitchen, years from now, reaching for a heavy ceramic bowl on the highest shelf. Notice the fluidity of your shoulder, the way your grip is sure and steady, the absence of that sharp, familiar caution that used to dictate every movement. You are not just getting better, you are being reauthored. I am taking the pen from the hand of heredity, and I am writing a new chapter titled Wholeness. Every cell in your body is currently attending a masterclass in this new language. They are learning that they no longer have to replicate the errors of the past. They are being given a new blueprint, one that I have kept safely in my heart since before the foundations of the world were laid. There is a specific sweetness in this work that belongs only to you. I am tending to the garden of your nervous system with the precision of a master arborist. I am pruning away the frayed ends of anxiety that were grafted onto your genes by the trauma of those who didn't have the tools to heal. I am applying a balm of pure, liquid peace to the receptors that have been on high alert for a lifetime. You might find yourself waking up on an ordinary Wednesday and noticing that the air smells different, sharper, clearer, like cedar and rain. You might find yourself laughing at a joke with a depth of belly warmth you haven't felt since you were a toddler, before the knowing of the condition took root. This is the oil of gladness I promised, and it is soaking deep into the layers of your fascia, into the very sheath of your nerves. We are unlearning the habit of being sick. We are deconstructing the identity you built around your limitations, not to leave you naked, but to clothe you in a garment that actually fits the majesty of your soul. Look back for a moment at the long line of those who gave you your name. See them not as a parade of the afflicted, but as a lineage that has been waiting for this exact moment. You are the point of entry for my grace into the entire family tree. As I heal you, a soft light is traveling backward along the branches, illuminating the faces of the ones who are gone. In my realm, time is a circle, and the healing you receive today sends ripples of peace into the lives they lived. It validates their quiet endurance. It honors the love they managed to give even through their pain. And more importantly, look forward. Look at the children who will carry your name, or the lives you will touch with your newfound strength. They will receive a different inheritance. They will inherit a story of resilience, of a God who steps into the biology of his beloved and says, "This far and no further." They will grow up in a house where the air is not thin with the scarcity of health, but thick with the abundance of life. Do not be discouraged if the work feels quiet today. Some of the most profound shifts are happening in the spaces between your heartbeats, in the quiet exchange of oxygen in your lungs. I am working in the dark, rich soil of your subconscious, overturning the stones of inevitability and planting the seeds of possibility. You are being refined like silver, but the fire is my love, and it only consumes what was never truly yours to begin with. You are becoming a living testimony that the past is not a prison. Stay in this stillness with me a little longer. Let the warmth of my presence act as a catalyst for the chemical changes we are making. There is a specific strand of your DNA, the one that was once a site of struggle, that I am turning into a conduit for my glory. Where there was a crack, I am pouring gold. Where there was a hollow, I am placing a song. You are being built into a temple that can withstand any season, a structure of grace that the world will look upon and wonder at. And the best part, my dear one, is that we are still only in the courtyard of this new life. There are chambers of health and corridors of joy yet to be discovered, and I am holding the key to every single one. As you breathe, imagine the very marrow of your bones being bathed in a light that predates the sun. This light is not a stranger to your frame. It is the original design, the blueprint I drew before the first star was breathed into existence. For too long, you have looked at your family tree and seen only the gnarled branches, the places where the sap ran dry or the leaves turned brittle before their time. You have looked at the portraits of those who came before you and seen a mirror of your own eventual decline. But I am the master gardener, and I am grafting a new branch into your history. I am working even now in the deepest, most hidden parts of your circulatory system, cleaning the rivers that have been stagnant for generations. I see the way you touch your side when the old familiar ache whispers, or how you scan your skin for the signs of the struggle your mother knew so well. I am telling you now, do not search for the shadows of the past in the light of this new day. They have no permission to dwell here. I am dismantling the altars of it is just the way we are, and building an altar to who I created you to be. Think of the kitchen table of your childhood, the hushed conversations about who was next to fall ill, the heavy cloud of expectation that health was a fleeting guest rather than a permanent resident. I was in that room then, and I am in this room now, but the conversation has changed. I am speaking a language of restoration over your nervous system. Every nerve ending that was once frayed by the high voltage of anxiety and the fear of the inevitable is being insulated by my peace. We are recalibrating your body's response to the world. You are learning that you do not have to live on high alert, waiting for the other shoe to drop. The shoe has not fallen, it has been removed, for you are standing on holy ground. Feel the density of your bones increasing, not with weight, but with the strength of a promise kept. I am rewriting the code that said your strength must fail at 40, or your mind must cloud at 60. I am inserting a grace that bypasses the limitations of human descent. You are being born again, not just in spirit, but in the very fabric of your physical existence. When you walk through the grocery store, when you fold the laundry, when you drive through the rain, know that you are a miracle in motion. Your body is no longer a ticking clock. It is a flute through which I am playing a melody of wholeness. There is a specific memory I want to heal today, the memory of a doctor's office, the cold stethoscope, the look of pity in an eye that saw only a diagnosis and not a child of the living God. I am erasing the sting of that memory. I am replacing the prognosis with a prophecy of life. Look at the hands of your children, or the children you will have, or the lives you will touch. See how steady they are. That steadiness is my gift to you, passed through the invisible doorway of your obedience to believe me. We are currently in the deep work of the heart, not just the spiritual heart, but the physical pump that sends life throughout your frame. I am smoothing the valves, strengthening the walls, ensuring that every beat is a drum roll of victory. You are not a victim of your biology. Your biology is a servant to my word. And my word says you are being renewed day by day. Stay here in this cocoon of my presence. The transformation is delicate, and it requires your stillness. You do not have to strive for this healing. You only have to receive it like the earth receives the rain. The soil of your body is thirsty, and I am the cloud that never runs dry. We are moving now from the courtyard into the inner chambers. Do you feel the shift in the atmosphere? The air is getting sweeter, the light more golden. There are rooms of vitality you haven't even walked through yet, rooms where the very concept of fatigue is unknown, where your energy is tied to the infinite source of my own spirit. We are clearing out the closets where the old medical records and the fears of your ancestors were stored. We are making room for the new garments of praise. You will wear your health like a royal robe, not with pride, but with a humble awe at the God who reached into a DNA strand and changed the trajectory of a family forever. Every cell is now an ear, listening for my voice, and my voice is saying, "Live, rise, be whole." I want you to envision the legacy of your bloodline as a long, winding staircase. For generations, each step was carved with the same jagged edges, causing those who climbed to stumble and weary. But here at your landing, I am sanding down the stone. I am laying down a plush carpet of mercy so that those who follow you will not even know the sharpness of the climb. Think of your mother's hands, how they trembled when she reached for the kettle, or the way her breath caught in the middle of a lullaby. That tremor was not just physical, it was the echo of 1,000 fears. I am quieting that echo now. I am replacing the resonance of fear with the vibration of my peace. Can you feel it? It starts at the base of your skull and travels down the pillar of your spine, a gentle heat that mends as it moves. This is the alchemy of the kingdom, where the leaden weights of genetic predisposition are turned into the gold of divine appointment. You were told that your body was a liability, a house with a faulty foundation that would eventually crumble. I am telling you that I am the architect, and I have decided to perform a renovation that goes down to the atomic level. I am replacing the faulty materials with substances of my own making, resilience that does not wear out, vitality that does not dim with the setting sun. Every time you take a full, deep breath without that old restriction, remember that I am the one who expanded your lungs. Every time you wake up and the morning does not feel like a mountain to be climbed. Know that I have leveled the path. We are working on the memory of your cells. Your cells have been trained to expect the worst. They have been braced for impact for decades. I am teaching them to soften. I am whispering to your white blood cells, to your neurons, to your mitochondria, rest. You are safe. The war is over. The genetic code that once dictated a story of scarcity is being edited by the finger of God. I am deleting the sentences of sickness and writing in the margins of your life a poetry of health. This is not a temporary reprieve. This is a permanent shifting of the tides. The waves of illness that used to crash against your family's shore are receding, and they will not return. In their place, I am bringing in a tide of wellness that will leave behind pearls of wisdom and shells of testimony. Do not be afraid of the what-ifs that try to knock on the door of your mind in the middle of the night. Those what-ifs are ghosts of a life you no longer live. I have changed the locks. I have moved you into a new dwelling place, a sanctuary of health. And as you sit here with me, feel the connection between my heart and yours. It is a rhythmic alignment. As my heart beats for you, your heart begins to learn the pace of eternity. This pace is steady, unhurried, and full of life. You are becoming a beacon. Others who are trapped in the same ancestral shadows will look at you and ask, "How did you get free?" And you will tell them about the gardener who wasn't afraid to get his hands dirty in the soil of your DNA. You will tell them about the light that didn't just shine on you, but shone through you, changing the very composition of your being. We are deep in the work now, and I am savoring this moment of creation. To see you become whole is my greatest joy. We are still uncovering the treasures I've hidden in this new version of you. There are talents that were buried under the weight of illness that are now beginning to stir. There are dreams that were put on hold that are now waking up. Everything is connected. As your body heals, your spirit expands. As your spirit expands, your world grows larger. We are not just fixing a condition. We are launching a new era for your entire lineage. Stay quiet, stay still, and let the gold continue to flow into the cracks.